Hey everybody. Alright, just checking some stuff out here. Okay, good, I'm live. Okay, I know it's like, 12:22. It is 12:22, so that means I'm on here for a purpose. I have not seen that number in a while. Alright, so I'll get to it. It's 12:22 on May 13th. And I'm on here to share with you what I'm getting. Alright, so I was just sitting here and debating on whether or not I wanted to come on and share this, but Spirit was like, okay, in your head, you're analyzing it to make it sound like it's crazy, but you need to get the message out there. So I'm going to share this. It's what's coming through right now. You can take it. You can do whatever you want with it. I'm just putting it out there. Okay, so first thing that came through to me is that we're changing dimensions. I've been seeing with the last 3 hours, that basically it's a lot of people are sending me stuff about this whole being agitated about being locked down, all the mandates that are going around, all this kind of like negative type fear mongering type of information, and all of a sudden I got this download that they're saying that we're changing timelines, and that right now, you know how like when we said before that we were going from 3D to 4D and we jumped to the 4D and the light workers were one of the ones and we had the light grid that was gridded to the planet already? Every time I put my hand in front of my face it changes the thing. So basically we were the first ones, the light workers were the first ones to grid and find a way with the new Earth for the 4D, right? So now I'm feeling that not negative, but that the forces that are trying to oppress the light workers, the dark workers, so to speak, because there's a light army and there's a dark army, and every army's got people and minions and, go-getters and army captains and all that. So basically the forces that are here that are negative and stuff, hey Lucy, hey Andrea, that they are catching up. They are now understanding the 4D, because in the beginning they were used to 3D and they're like trying to scramble on how to do it, and it looked like we were really like winning, so to speak, right? And then all of a sudden we were so good, and then all of a sudden this crap hit. 2020, the freaking virus, everything else. Okay, this is what's coming through to me. The negative, or whatever else, how else you want to explain it, the oppressing forces and stuff, they have found a way to latch onto the 4D. So they're trying to find another way to get into the 4D where we are. And they're actually taking hold. This is why all this crap is going on, and this is why they're all like, okay, mandates and all these, different things that people are fighting over. There's like polarities all over the place. Like, I'm for this person and this value, I'm not for this person and this value, and it's not gray areas anymore, it's black and white. So what I'm getting is that we lightworkers are so close to the 5D, the transfer to the 5D, that all this is coming up because they're like running after us and we're always a step ahead of them, okay? So don't be like, because yesterday I was like super sad, super depressed, super like, and I've been feeling this like heavy, not good. I mean, granted, I had my monthly cycle and things like that, but this one was off. Like a lot of pain and a lot of fog, a lot of agitation, frustration. I'm feeling the collective frustration and things like that. The cold weather here in New York, all these things. And then like I always feel like I'm being bombarded anytime I put something on, I'm getting attacked, things like that. Well, it's because the negative forces have found a way to see us. So we were cloaked for a while and now we're not cloaked. We're not supposed to be cloaked now. That's the whole point. Anyway, so going forward, basically, they're maxing out, figuring out the beginning of 4D and how to do that manifestation stuff, and so they're working on manifestation, basically making all their stuff come true, like how we were in originally. That's why a lot of us, and a lot of the people that were trying to wake up, are still stagnant and don't want to be woken up. and they're holding, desperately clinging to their beliefs. And this is why we get so frustrated, because we're like, wait, you guys were totally awake in getting there, and then all of a sudden now you're backpedaling. What the heck's going on? It's because they were able to, the tentacles from the negative forces have, gone in there, okay? So they're being pulled right back. Don't worry, we have Galactic Federation here. The ships are here, they're all here, it's all good. We have people, there is a plan. Even though it doesn't look good, and it looks like all these people that are for not our higher good and things like that are trying to, like, take over everything, there's a reason for that, okay? We have to smoke them out, okay? We have to see the super bad before it gets good. Like, when you win a war, basically you have to, it's really bad before you end up, like, fully triumphing over it, okay? I mean, that's usually how it goes anyways. Any kind of war. Spiritual war, physical war, emotional war, whatever. And you don't always want to tell the enemy your plans, right? You want to look like you're being defeated so that they give up, or they put all their efforts into the last stand, right? And then you're like, oh yeah, I'm so defeated. And then you come out from behind them. I mean, I don't know if anybody thinks of, like, Lord of the Rings, okay, in that movie. You know how, like, they always feel like they're like, oh no, Gandalf dies off the cliff or whatever, and then you realize, oh no, we're without Gandalf or whatever. And then in another one, he comes back, and you're like, well, how's the heck? We come back. There are other things that we've got. We've got other beings, other planetary entities that are here to help us too. They're no longer sitting back. But in order for them to help us, they have to be able to be like, hey, I don't want the big, big, big people, all their entities knowing that we're here. Anyways, I digress. My point is, we're changing dimensions. We're going into the 5D, and what I'm getting with that is not everybody, certain people that we love, but certain people that are not. This is going to sound sad, but I have to put it out there. This is weird. I don't really want to, and I feel really weird doing this, but I have to tell my truth. They're not going to come with us, okay? It's not their plan to come with us, okay? That's what we have to learn. They wrote their chart. They wrote their timeline. Not all of us go to the same. We're all eventually going to go to the same place at the end. But right now, their experience is possibly to learn to live through, say, the 4D when we're in 5D, okay? Or to leave us. That's what we're seeing a lot now with all these cases and people passing and things like that. It's not that they're passing and we're going to lose them. It's that they're passing because they can do more on the other side to help us out down here. Okay? When, like, especially the elderly, okay? A lot of these elderly people that are passing and stuff, it's because if they're set, depending on what their road is and whatever, they can go to the other side, be fully aware, and not have any of the blocks or the boundaries that we have in this physical world and realm, and be able to do all that stuff and have more people on that side manning the big guns, so to speak, so that they can get the other big guns that we're fighting over, in the sky, the stuff that we don't see physically here, get that done, so that we can have more people here to be not as oppressed down here. But in order for that to happen, we gotta have more soldiers up there than down here, okay? So that's what's going on, too. A lot of these people who have lived through a lot of these other things, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's, like, a ton of overlapping, interweaving, spiderweb type freaking interconnections. So anyways, we do have help. It's gonna look way worse before it gets better, for sure. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. Because that's what they want. They want you to give up hope. They want you to think, hey, Yolanda, they want you to think that they're winning. And it's okay. Remember that cloak? We gotta be cloaked for a little bit there? We're getting back into that again. We're getting back into the idea that basically those who we were explaining the truth and they were kind of awake to it, they were kind of like, okay, this might actually make sense. They're completely, like, shut down now. They're like, oh, no. Like, I've talked to people who were actually like, oh, yeah, that's actually cool. I think you have a point there. And now, all of a sudden, I say something to them, like I have been the whole entire time, and they, like, slam me. Like, thank you, you too. They, like, attack you for no reason. And it's because they, in their soul, know that there's this truth to it. And they're scared. because everything that they built up on their lives was based on this false precedence of how to live your life in the 3D and that. And it's more scary for them. It's like whenever we have to face our fears, okay? We always think it's going to be worse. And then when we finally do and we finally are forced to, where we take the jump, it's never as worse as it seems. But they don't know that. They're on that fear side versus on the other side when they jump over the cliff and they realize it's okay. And it's actually a lot better. And it wasn't as bad as they thought. So we have to give them time. Not everybody is... If the people in the masses were jolted awake the way they are now, their psyche would not recover, okay? There's too much other stuff going on. The reason why Alice went down the hole is because Alice was the only one that was aware enough and awake enough and able to take her ego center and put it in check to believe in all that, okay? The same thing with The Matrix and all those movies. They have grains of salt with all of them, okay? So this is what's coming through, and I keep going back and forth because I keep getting all that stuff, and I'm trying to stay on task here. The oppressive feelings you're feeling, the negative, being attacked by social media and things like that, it's all for the greater good. There's a purpose. If you don't feel like doing that, that's fine. Go back, put your cloak back on, and just stay in the back and just watch how everything develops until you feel that it's your path and you're ready to actually come back out, and speak your truth. I'm doing that right now myself. At first, I was out there being like, okay, yeah, this is good because I was told to. And now the timeline has changed. The timeline has shifted again because of different things that, changed. I don't know. I'm not privy necessarily to the whole entire timeline, but I know it's changed. Because for a while there was a flow. And now there's this, it's like the energy's getting caught up somewhere. So we go fast and then we back up. I see a lot of people saying it's like 2 steps or 1 step forward, 3 steps back. It feels like we're going to make progress, and then we're thrown back into the ditch, and then we have to get back up to the hill, and then we're thrown back in the ditch. Well, the more we do it, the more we'll get stronger to be able to do it faster and not to be worried if we get kicked back down again, right? It's called resilience, right? Usually when you're in a war and you're in a fight for, the greater good or whatever, you have to build up resilience. You have to build up these natural defense mechanisms to always being, attacked and stuff like that. Like I said, everybody's got a different life path. So everybody is going to be doing their stuff differently than yours, okay? Mine is not necessarily all about the political ends of this or that or whatever. Mine, like I said, is to share what's coming through to me. Share that basically if you get stuck up and hung up in all this stuff, turn off social media, turn off the news, recenter yourself, get out in the sun, get out in the warmth, do something that you love to do. Because I'm also, with the stuff that's going on at the house, I'm being bombarded with a lot of things, and I don't feel like I don't have that fun. Because, of course, all our fun avenues have been taken away because everything's on pause. That was a purpose. That was a way to... Well, I'm not going to get into it. Anyway, because that goes into political stuff, and I don't want to... My point is, we need to do something to get our fun back again. I haven't been doing my video games in a while because I've been trying to figure out this other stuff and trying to make financial stuff work and stuff like that. But we have to remember to actually take time for ourselves. I have to go and take a shower and take a nice soothing shower with a couple of my bath bombs from my company and stuff. And just breathe in and just relax and have that sauna type feeling. That's what works for me. I went out this morning. It was freaking cold as crap, but the sun felt amazing when I was outside. I listened to the birds. I saw an actual Baltimore Oriole in my tree, which that resonates with me. And that shows me, and actually on my feed, 3 years ago we had a indigo bunting. And I resonate with birds and animals and things in nature. So that showing up on my feed after all the negative talk and all that made me feel amazing. And I'm it drove me to be like, hey, go outside. And I'm getting all these bird messages from both on the news, in actual physical life when they're hitting the window or whatever, and when they're coming on my feed. So we need to listen to these things. Like if you keep seeing the same kind of a cat, either in the newspaper, on the news, with a friend, or somebody mentions it in a conversation, or it's in a song, take note. Because these are little messages, and then research them, say, okay, what I'm trying to do with the totem. I'm trying to organize the group a little more. Try to make it a little more organized. doing, I'm sorry if I'm flooding the feed with all these crystals notifications. I don't mean to do it. It's just in my feed. And if I don't share it within that day, then basically I lose it on my feed. And I want you guys to know the information about it so you guys can incorporate it. I need to get back into crystals too. I need to get back into hopefully being outside. With this cold weather, everybody was outside, and being in the dirt and feeling Mother Earth and things like that, it's better. You ground better. You feel a lot better. You've got good stuff. I also applied for another part-time job to supplement my hours, and I thought it was going to be in a greenhouse and it was going to be okay, and then they never called me back. Well, because that was another thing. Smoke and mirror, guys. Smoke and mirrors. Gaslighting, things like this. We need to become aware of it, okay? I went to apply for that job, and on the thing it said, oh yeah, we're good, pays based on experience, 12 to whatever, 14 hours an hour for the one, and 10 to 12 for another. You get more hours or whatever. And they're all like talking, oh yeah, and the guy called me for the interview. He didn't specify which 2 jobs. Now, granted, I had not updated my Indeed resume to say that I was working at Sherwin-Williams. But basically, I did that, or I didn't do that, and then I sent them. So according to them, I wasn't really having a job or whatever. And I sent them the stuff, and then they called me, and he goes, oh, I want to interview on Monday. And I said, well, no, I'm currently working at Sherwin-Williams as part-time, but I'm, how about Tuesday, 1 o'clock? And he said, oh, yeah, sure. He was all gung-ho on the phone, and everything was fine. Go to the place. They send me another thing to fill out. Right? And I'm thinking, okay, this is interesting. I mean, I get the paper thing. So I fill it out, and I don't fill the full thing out. I just say, according to my resume, because at the time, I'm waiting in line, you have your mask on, you have, you can't give your pen back because they give you the pen, and that's it, and all safe measures. And then this girl is being interviewed with this other guy. The girl goes into the other room and says, okay, and I'm like, I'm not sure which job I wanted or whatever. She comes back out and she goes, oh, he's a little bit busy right now, but how about we come over here? And so she's asking me questions a little bit here. And I put down starting would be in two weeks, because I'd have to give my 2 weeks notice for the other job, or at least for the days. And she played it all up, sounded really awesome. Oh, yeah, sure. This was last Monday, by the way. And then she goes, we'll call you tomorrow, definitely, whether or not it's actually for an actual position or not. We'll tell you either way. And I've had this happen before, but not to this kind of like extreme, where I'm like, okay. And I've been trying to apply for this company, Seasonal Nursery, for about a year now. And so then I'm like, okay. And I have yet to hear back from them. Yet to hear back. And we're, today's Wednesday of the 2nd week now? And I'm like, they're not going to call me. Sure as shit, they're not going to call me. Because they only wanted what I now see, and what has been enlightened, is slave labor, because they wanted kids, and it was a seasonal thing. They just wanted kids that were going to be in there, and they wanted all this other stuff to do that. And I'm like, I'm not privy to that. For one, I respect myself enough to be paid the hours. I asked for $12 an hour. I'm going to be honorable enough to give the other job 2 weeks notice. I mean, I would think this company would want 2 weeks notice to be given to them too. So it's like they're trying to play favorites. But they wanted somebody that was gullible enough to go in there and just do the work, not get really paid for what they wanted to do, and all this other different stuff, okay? So it was all a smoke and mirror, because online, and all they did, they toted it up all nice, and so we got to be careful with that, because then I went in there, and I'm like, okay, my job right now, we don't have to wear a mask, because we're all inside, because we do curbside. Eventually, we're going to have to open up and do masks and things like that. But for me, that might be a problem. And actually, it's not going to be, might be, it is. Because of my breathing issues. If I can get my sinuses on par and figure that out, then I'll be okay. But right now, that's a problem. And if I had started over there, I would have issues breathing and trying to get through to that right now. So the universe was helping me out with saying, yeah, okay, gardening and being in nature and stuff is really good for you. It's a good position. But that company's not the one you want to go for. Even though you thought it was the right one for you because it was this prestigious one, it was good, and you could probably work up the way. No. Because of the corruption within. Because of the fact that they didn't really value their people. They just wanted their people to do it so they can get more money in the back end. And this is what we got to be aware of. So anyways, little things like this, things that you need to be aware of, and I totally went off topic with that one, but it was about gaslighting and things like that. I'm being aware. And if you don't feel that you're being valued, don't do it. I'm learning that here. I'm learning that I have to stand my ground, not care as much, which is sad because unfortunately, by me not caring as much because I can't control things, it causes this situation to get a little bit less in control, I guess, or whatever, and I just have to let it be and exist. But it's not up to me. It's up to the universe. I'm not here to protect and to save everybody, even though that's what I think I have to do. And that's another lesson for me. The martyr whole thing and the saving everybody. I'm not here to save everybody. I'm not here to make sure everybody is enlightened and wake everybody up and make sure that they're doing the right thing at the right time. That's not on me. I'm just here to be a voice of supposedly reason in a dark time. So anyways, I just want to come on here, and it's, all the messages are kind of fading now completely. The first 5 minutes of that was the download. But anyways, I'm just coming in here to say yeah, that was what I got. Changing timelines. The forces that we're fighting have finally figured out how to navigate the 4D, so that's why we're getting all this oppression and all this frustration, because they're actually we're actually physically battling like this now, versus we're on this level and they're down here, they've jumped up here now. It's like a Mario Brother thing. They've jumped up here, now we gotta jump up here so we can still keep getting 1 foot ahead. But right now we're kind of on equal playing fields right now. That's why it's kind of feeling a little more surreal. But anyways, I'm gonna get going. I gotta do some other stuff and figure out what I'm doing today, if I'm gonna go grocery shopping and what all that's all about. But don't let the fear play into it. The more you live in fear, the more the fear controls you, the more it's gonna cause mass havoc. We do not need to be living in fear, okay? This is a man-made thing. God did not want us to be, or the universe, or whoever you want to say, want us to be living in fear, okay? I've gone back and forth, because when you go back and forth, at least you're questioning it. I always say question everything. Everything that you thought was once real, okay? Because everything is not as it seems. So anyways, I'm going to get going. Those are little tidbits. I'm practicing being a dot, and trying not to judge everybody for their stuff, and just being me, and just refining myself and where I am in life. And then trying to stay warm because it's a little bit cold, but it's going to be 70 soon, so I'm going to be excited. I just put jam out for the Baltimore Orioles because I saw Baltimore Oriole, and I'm excited. And then our aide just got some more bird seed, so maybe I'll do that tomorrow too. Because birds are my light. I love them, and they're so cool. Alright, do what you gotta do to get yourself to be happy, and no judgment, no nothing. It's just, we all are here for our reasons, and they're all different, so you do you, and yeah. Alright, everybody stay safe. Love, light, and blessings. Namaste.